I'll show you how to create this exact anime school scene in Blender step by step from scratch. Let's start. So now in a new Blender file, let's start by pressing Shift A and add in a cube. And basically this cube is going to be our hallway. You can press N now to bring up the sidebar and we can put in the dimensions over here. So the X can be somewhere around 22.5, which is basically the length of our hallway. And then Y can be 4 meters and Z can be 3.25 meters. Alright, so basically we have our hallway now. You can select the cube, press tab, press 3 for face select and select this face and just delete it. So press X and delete the face. Basically this way we can actually see our hallway from the inside. Alright, so the next step is it is pretty simple. We will be adding some windows over here on the right hand side and the left we will have some doors to basically create that school kind of vibe. So over here we can have some classrooms, a door in the front and some windows on the right side. So press tab now. First make sure to press Ctrl A and apply the scale. And then you can just press tab, press 3 for face select and let's select this face and we can press P and separate the selection. Basically this way we have this as a separate object and this part is a separate object. Let's select this, press tab, and what I will be doing is I want to have like 5 window panels. So press Ctrl R and just move your like the scroll wheel to add 4 edge loops. Now you can hit right click to place them in the center. This way I get like 5 window panels and we can just enable X-ray quickly. Press 1 for vertice select and select all of these and press X and delete them. Basically we just need to create one window panel and then we can use the array modifier to duplicate it. That way it like reduces our work. Alright, so let's select this, make sure to press Ctrl A, apply the scale. I will also go in over here, so press tab, go over here and you can enable edge length. Basically this way whatever edge you select, you can actually see the length of it, which is kind of helpful. Alright, so press Ctrl R, add one edge loop right over here and let's move it around till somewhere around here I think. Basically this way I can just select this like face, press E to extrude it out, create like this wall extrusion like thing. And over here we can create the window. So press tab now, press Ctrl R and just move it down to somewhere roughly around here. Now we can just press 3 for face select, select this top face and you can press I to insert this. Make sure to once again just press Ctrl A, apply the scale and now you can press I to insert this. Let's insert this somewhere around here. And yeah, basically this way we have our windows as well. Now you can press X and delete the face and this way we have created the windows and we have the simple window panel. You can go into the modifier section and search for the array modifier and put in just -1 over here in the X offset. Basically this way it will be duplicating over here and just increase it to 5 and it fits perfectly because we have actually like taken this part from the hallway itself, so it fits perfectly with 5 like panels. Alright, this way we have created our right side very easily. So let's actually detail it up a bit. So first what I will do is I will select this, go over here and add a solidify modifier. To basically give it thickness, you can set this to complex mode and let's increase the thickness a bit. Not too much, just a tad bit. I think somewhere around here is pretty good. Now we can also add in maybe a bevel modifier to give the edges a bit of smoothness. Just decrease the bevel amount. Maybe I'll press tab, turn these off for now. Let's select this edge and just move it in a little bit, just a tad bit. And this one as well, select the bottom one. I will just move it upwards. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just enable everything back on now. Next, we can start working on the actual windows now. So just select your wall panel, press tab, hold alt and select this entire loop. Press shift plus D and now we can press Y to just bring it out over here in the front. Press P and separate the selection. This way we basically have this separate object to create the windows. You can also go in over here and just remove the array modifier for now. Press tab, press A to select everything and press F to fill out this face. I will also set the origin point of this object correctly because it is right now placed over here. As you can see, it is rotating this way. So that's wrong. So just go over here to object, set origin and origin to geometry. This way it is back in the center over here. We can also press a slash on our number pad so that we can isolate any object and just work on it freely. Alright, so press tab, press Ctrl R, hit right click to add edge loop right in the middle, and I will just select these two vertices, press X and delete them. This way I can just simply add in a mirror modifier, put it over here at the top, and then we can just create these windows. Press 2 for edge select, select this edge and just move them apart a little bit so that we get this separation in between. Press tab, press 3 for face select, select this face and now press I to insert this. Press X and delete the face. So you see how easily we created our windows. Let's press slash again on a number pad to come back to our like normal scene. Let's move it back over here. I will also select my like the window panels and just increase the thickness for them of the solidify modifier like this. Alright, so now we have created our windows as well. Once again, just select it and you can add in a array modifier on the negative, I think. So now you can see the array modifier is not really working correctly, and the reason for that is because I've placed it at the top above the mirror modifier. So make sure you move it below the mirror modifier and then it will start to work correctly like in our intended way. And now we can just place it like this and increase the number of count to 5. We can press 3 I think on our number pad or 1 to make sure it is being placed like correctly. You can go into the wireframe mode and just increase the offset a little bit so that it fits perfectly. And yeah, that's pretty good. With that, our windows are also done. So now we can start working on the classroom doors over here on the left hand side. But before that, I just noticed a small issue. Let's just fix that quickly. I will select my window panels and press slash. You can see the thickness over here at the top is like pretty weird, like it is going slanted this way. So just press tab, and I think it is these two faces that are causing problems with the solidify modifier. So you can just select them both, press X and delete the faces. As soon as you do that, you can see now the solidify modifier is working perfectly. Let's press slash to come back to our normal scene and we can start working on the doors. So let's press shift A and add in a cube. Let's move it out right over here so that we can work on it first. We can start by creating the outer door frame. Press 3 for face select, select this face and press X, delete the vertices so that we are just left with this flat plane. Now we can just press N once again to bring up the sidebar, and the X dimension can be 1.9 meters and the height of the door can be somewhere around 2.35 meters. Yeah, something like that. And now to create a frame out of this, we can just press tab, select this edge. So select this edge, press X and delete the edge itself so that we are just left with this. Now you can press 1 for vertice select, press A to select everything and now press E to extrude it out. You can press Y to lock on the Y axis and we basically have created this door frame. To give it thickness, you can simply add in a solidify modifier and the thickness will be added. You can see it is not really working correctly. So first I will set this to complex and see if that works. You can also press tab, press A to select everything and just press shift plus N to basically fix the normals. And now you can see everything is working perfectly. Alright, let's give it somewhere around here. Like this much thickness is fine. We can also add in a bevel modifier as well. Also just make sure you press Ctrl A and apply the scale. Now we can just adjust the bevel modifier. Now I will just press tab and I just want to reduce this thickness right over here. So select all three of these edges, press G then Y and move them back. I think somewhere around here is pretty good. Alright, so now to create the actual door itself, press Ctrl R, add edge loop right over here and hit right click. So that now we can just press Shift plus D. Again hit right click to place it over here. Press P and separate the selection. Again this way we have these edges right over here and we can just scale them down to create like the actual door itself. Let's press 1 for the front view, press tab, again just move them close to the frame itself like this. And yeah, that's pretty good. I will select these two like vertices, press F to connect them. And now we can press A to select everything and again press F to fill out the face. For now, just turn off the solidify modifier. And again, go to object, set origin, origin to geometry. Once again, I will just use the mirror modifier for this. So press Ctrl R, add edge loop right in the middle. So hit right click, select these two vertices, press X and delete them. And we can just add in the mirror modifier. Pretty simple. Let's move it to the top, press tab. I will select this edge and just press G then X and move it slightly like away from each other so that we have like a little partition in between because we need that for a door. And yeah, now our door looks something like this. So to make it look more like a classroom door, what we can do is first just press Ctrl plus A and apply the scale. Press tab, we can press Ctrl R, add an edge loop like let's say somewhere around here, and then we can select this top face, press I to insert this, and let's insert this till here again and press X and delete the face. This way we have something like this which pretty much looks like a door, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. What I will do is I will also just go over here and apply the mirror modifier, because basically what I want to do is I just want to select this door right over here. So press tab to go into the edit mode and you can just hover over the faces, press L to select this entire side, and basically I just want to move it backwards, so press G then Y and move it back like this so that it gives a little bit more of that door illusion. And yeah, now I'm pretty happy with how the door is looking. You can adjust the bevel modifier a little bit more, and I think this is looking pretty decent. Next, we can also add like a window frame type of thing on top of our door. So for that, I will just select this, press Shift plus D and place it right over here. You can press tab and first we need to remove this edge loop. So hold alt, select this entire loop, press X and dissolve the edge loop. Alright. Now we can press 2, select this edge and select this edge, press F and join them basically. Now we can reduce the size of this. So select this top face and move it down to somewhere around here, I think. Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe I'll just decrease the thickness of it just a tad bit, something around here. Then we can quickly just apply the solidify modifier, because I also want to add like a division in between of this. So press tab, press Ctrl R, add two edge loops on the top, press Ctrl R and again scroll and add two edge loops like this. Now hold alt and shift and basically select all of these loops, press S 10X and bring them close together like this. Something like that. Then we can press 3 for face select, select both of these faces, press X and delete the face. Hold alt again, hold shift and alt, select these two. You can press Ctrl plus E now and select bridge edge loops. Basically this will connect the loops like this. I will also just quickly turn off this edge length thing now. I think we don't need it anymore. And yeah, now it is looking pretty good. You can press tab, press Ctrl R, add one edge loop over here. So hit right click and add one over here as well. Once again, just hit right click to place it in the middle. Select these two, press shift plus D and hit right click to place them exactly over here. Press P and separate the selection. Basically we can create like one another like part of the window inside this. Now press E to extrude it. You can press Y to lock on the Y axis and just give it a bit of thickness. And yeah, basically we have done it. We now just need to add a solidify modifier to this to give it thickness. Let's increase the thickness. It is not really working correctly. So press tab, A to select everything and press shift plus N. This will recalculate all the normals and fix that. And with that, our door is also basically done. I think it is looking pretty good now. So what we need to do is we can just select it all and go to object, set origin, origin to geometry, so that the origin points are fixed. Next, we can also add like a simple plane. So just select your door, press shift plus S, cursor to select it, so that the cursor point is right over here, and we can add a plane exactly in the middle like this. And this plane is basically going to act as a window part so that we can later on add the glass material to this. So just create this plane, adjust it and place it right over here for our windows. You can also duplicate this, so press shift plus D, press Z to lock on the Z axis and move it up for the top part of our windows as well like this. And yeah, that's pretty good. I will select the doors and just move them like a little bit out in the front, not that much, somewhere around here. And yeah, now you can just select your door entirely, move it right over here. You can press 3 on your number pad, enable X-ray and just place it roughly like this. Let's move it somewhere around here. Obviously we will be placing it like properly. once we are like actually texturing our stuff. But for now, I think something like this is pretty good. So let's just continue for now. We can like duplicate them later on when we add the materials. All right, so the next thing to do is to create like the shoe rack right over here. So press Shift A and let's add in a cube. We can scale this down. Let's press 1 for the side view. Enable X-ray and place it roughly over here. Press S then X and scale it up on the X-axis. Somewhere around here. And the height can be roughly this much. Let's move it over to the edge. And yeah, I think this would be pretty good for our shoe rack. So next what we can do is obviously we need to add some shelves in between. So first select it, press Ctrl A and apply the scale. And then we can just press tab to go into the edit mode. Press Ctrl R and add 3 edge loops like this, and press Ctrl R once again and add 3 edge loops like this. Press 3 for face select. Select all of these faces that are on the front, and you can just press I to insert them a little bit like this and push it in just a little bit. Then once again press I to insert, but this time press I once again to insert them individually so that we can create shelves like this, and then just press E and extrude them completely inwards. We can now go into the modifier section and add in a bevel modifier. Make sure the scale is applied, adjust the bevel amount and enable harden normals. And yeah, I think that's pretty good. Maybe I will decrease the thickness of it this way, somewhere around here. Then we can simply add in a array modifier, move it over here like this, and just place it roughly between like the pillars. I think something like this is pretty good. Now we are pretty much done with our modeling section, so we can now finally move over to lighting up the scene and adding materials. All right, so let's move over to the rendered view tab. We cannot really see anything first, so press Shift A and let's add in a sun lamp. We can now press R then X and just rotate it up a bit like this. And also make sure to go over here and change this to cycles. I will set this to GPU, enable denoise as well, so that we get something like this. Does not look great, but don't worry, we'll be working on that. First, what I will do is I will select my sun lamp and just increase the strength to something like 5. With that, we have like enough light pouring in our scene. I will also enable this temperature option, and basically if you increase it, your scene will start to get like these bluish tones, and if you decrease it, you will get yellowish tones. And now as we are creating like a sunset scene, so I will decrease it to somewhere around 4300 so that we get like decently yellowish lighting. All right, so now let's just start adding the materials, and then we can like adjust the lighting as we go. All right, so first I will just select the like this object, press tab and select this bottom face, and you can again press P and separate the selection so that this becomes a separate object, and we can add like a separate material to it. I will click over here and change this to shader editor. Click on new, rename this to ground. So this is like a first material. And again, the materials I use are going to be like really simple. I will just decrease the roughness of this to 0 so that we like start getting all these reflections. Nothing else, not too much. Now select your windows and you can again click on new material, rename this to windows. And for this one, again, pretty simple. Just increase the metallic to 1 and we can decrease the roughness to something like 0.25. With that, we get like this metallic look which we want. Now you can select the walls over here and again click on new material. Let's rename this to walls. And we can just keep it at this default material only and click on this plus icon over here to add a new slot and just rename this one to blue. And basically we will just make a blue colored wall. So you can just change the color from over here to something like this. Press tab over here and just select this face. You can enable X-ray, just select this face and you can select the blue material from over here and hit assign. This way we get this like blue color and we can create like some color contrast in our materials. Let's do the same over here as well. Press tab and first I will just select this top part of the ceiling, press P and separate the selection. Now let's select these walls and you can just select the material This one. So this is the default material. Again, click on this plus icon and set the material blue. Press tab, press Ctrl R, and you can add this edge loop. Now I want this edge loop to be perfectly in line with this one. So you can go over here and enable vertex snapping and basically just select this loop. So hold Alt, select this loop entirely, press G, then Z to lock on the Z axis and hold Control, and you can just snap with the vertex like this very easily. And now this way we can just select all of these faces, hold Alt and select this loop, and now just click on assign. And basically now the entire walls have the same material. Let's change up the like color of this material a little bit, maybe something like that. I'll decrease the saturation a bit more, somewhere around here I think. And I also want to make it like nice, like shiny as well, so somewhere around 0.05 to get this type of look. All right, next what we can do is we can also add like the glass material obviously over here in the windows. So just select your windows, press shift plus S, cursor to selected, press shift A and add in a plane. Let's rotate this plane on the y axis by 90 degrees, sorry, on the x axis. So press R then X, type in 90 and just move it in over here. Press tab and just move it like this. Now select this part of your edge, press G then X and move it all the way over here like this. Now as you can see we cannot really get any light, so select your like plane, go over here in the object data properties and under the visibility section you can turn off shadows. Basically this will still allow the light to pass through them, and which is exactly what we want. So click on this new and rename this to glass. Now we can just select this principled BSDF, delete it, press shift plus A and add in a glass BSDF, plug this in over here, and yeah, basically we have got our glass material as well. Let's put the IOR at 1.33, which is like roughly the IOR of glass. So I will be using that. And with that, I think the scene is starting to look really nice. So now I think it's time we add a camera. So you can just select the floor, press shift plus S, cursor to selected, press 3 on your number pad so that you can line it up this way, so that when you add a camera, so press shift A and add in a camera, you can see it will get added like perfectly straight this way facing the hallway. Now you can press G then Z and move it up a little bit. Press 0 on your number pad to view through the camera. And first we will go in the camera settings. So in the object data properties, set the focal length to something like 36. Alright, that's better. I will press G then Z and again move it up somewhere around here. You can also come in over here in the output properties and just enable render region so that you only see the area that will be rendered and nothing extra. Alright, so that's pretty good. I will now select my door. Let's come over here and I'll just quickly first select this face, press tab and select this face, hold alt and select this as well, press G and Y and just bring it out a little bit in the front, something like that. And yeah, now just select all of your door. You can just select it all and hold control to deselect any of the like extra objects like this. Press 0 to view through your camera, press G, then X and move it a little bit in the front. Now we can also add some kind of background outside our window because right now it is completely blank. So you can press Shift A and go into Image, Mesh Plane and just select this background. I've also added the link to download this background in the description, so you can do that. Also, if you want to get this entire scene, it is available on my Patreon for free, so you can check that out as well. All right, so now that you have added this like background, just scale it up a bit. Press 0 on your number pad so that you can view through your camera and just scale it up and place it correctly like this. You can see we can like kind of see the buildings outside, which makes it look a little bit more better and like authentic. One thing that we might notice is that the background is looking like really dark. So the easy way to fix that is uh, just select your background image and instead of plugging it through this principled BSDF, just directly plug the color input into the surface. And this way you can see it will start looking like pretty bright again. Now when you press 0 on your number pad, you can easily see how like nice the background looks over here. Let's just adjust it up a bit. And yeah, that's pretty good. Obviously we need to change the color of it to match with the surroundings. So press Shift A and add in a hue saturation node and plug in over here. Let's change the color of it to something like orangish. Decrease the saturation a bit and maybe just make it like a tad bit darker, something like that. Also, I think it is time we can go in the render properties and change the color management from AGX to standard. I think I always use standard for my like anime style scenes, and you can already see the difference. This is AGX and this is standard. So it like makes the color pop a little bit more. So yeah, I will be using that. Next, we can select our doors. Hold control to deselect any extra objects and maybe just move it a little bit down. All right, as far as the material is concerned for the door, I think it is fine this way. Just select your like glass, click on new and rename this to door glass. And for this one, I will be using a little bit different material. Again, it's pretty simple. So just delete the principal BSDF, press Shift A and add in a add shader and plug this in. And basically in the top, I will plug in this translucent BSDF and press Shift A and search for glossy BSDF. Just set the roughness to 0. And now with this, we can control like the color and make it like something like this to add like a little bit of color variation in our scene. Now you can select the top one as well and give it the same door glass material. I think this looks pretty good. We can now just select all of our door. Just make sure to select that, hold control and deselect. Press 0 on your number pad. Press Shift plus D to duplicate, and you can press X to lock on the X axis and just duplicate it like this. And we can just move it roughly, however the like composition feels right. And I think it looks fine. Once again, just select it all quickly. Press Shift plus D and bring it over here. Press R then Z, type in -90 to rotate it like this. And just also place it in the front as well. All right, with that, our scene is starting to look pretty good. I think we can just select this and maybe make the color a bit more desaturated. I think it is a bit too much right now, somewhere around here. Press Shift A and also add in a grease pencil and scene line art, basically to obviously get some like line art in our scene. Let's adjust the thickness. You can also go in over here in edge types and disable crease threshold. Basically, it will remove any like excess outline and make it look a little bit more cleaner. Now let's just decrease the line radius. Let's try something like 0.01. I think that's pretty good. We can just give this a quick render, make sure the samples are set to 100 and now press F12. All right, so the render is done now and this is something how it looks. I think the scene is starting to come along, but it does look a little bit empty. So we can add like a couple of things. We also need to add like a ceiling material as well. So let's quickly do that. I will also select my line art modifier and just turn it off in the viewport because it can make the viewport a bit laggy. So yeah, just disable that. Select your ceiling, click on new, and this will be like the ceiling material. For this, we can just press Shift A and add in a brick texture. And we can use something like the brick texture over here. All right, let's see. I will reduce the brick width to 0.25 and then we can also adjust the scale of this. Select the mortar size and again decrease it to 0.005, like something really small. I think 0.001. Yeah, that's better. The roughness again, I will make it like pretty reflective. And as far as the color is concerned, we can again, we do have like a lot of beige tones in our scene, so I will be going with that. I will just set the offset to 0 and just make it bright. Yeah, I think something like that. Maybe just make it tad bit darker. Just the scale somewhere around here. I think yeah, that looks pretty good. Also, to make our lighting look a bit more dramatic, we can just select our sun and probably just rotate it like this so that you can see the light starts hitting over here as well on the pillars. So I think something like that would be nice. Let's rotate it up a bit this way as well. And also you can select your like object data properties over here and just increase the angle for this to basically make the shadows look a lot more softer, so they are like not as harsh. Like at 0 they would be completely harsh, so we can set it somewhere around like probably here. I think this gives it a pretty nice look. Now I will also add some kind of material to our shelf. You can just select it, click on new, and rename this to shelves underscore outside. Basically, this will be the material for the outside, and for the inside, for like all these shelves, you can create a different material. Go over here, click on this plus icon, click on new, rename this to shelves underscore inside. And we can change the color to something random for now. And just select your shelf, press slash to go into the local mode. You can now press tab. Now you can just hold alt, select this loop entirely and select all of the faces that are at the back. And just press Ctrl plus I to basically invert the selection. And now you can select this material shelves underscore inside and then hit assign. This way, like this inside part will have like a different material and the outside part will have like a different material. We can now control the color easily. Obviously decrease the saturation. And I think the blue color looks pretty good. Maybe something like that. And yeah, let's just add like a couple more props to like finalize the scene. First, I will select my doors. Once again, just press slash to go into the local mode, and we can add like some sort of handle. So press shift plus S, cursor to selected, press shift A, and let's add in a simple plane. Let's scale this down and place it right over here. Press 2 for edge select and press E, then extrude it, press Z to bring it down on the Z axis like this. You can now just select this edge, press shift plus S, cursor to selected to bring the cursor right over here at this edge, and then go to object, set origin, origin to 3D cursor. This way the origin point will come over here, and then we can just simply go into modifier section and add in a mirror modifier. Set it on the Z axis, and this way we have easily created like a handle with the help of the mirror modifier. We can now adjust the top part to decrease its height and also add in a solidify modifier to give it a bit of thickness. Make sure to enable even thickness and now adjust it. That's pretty good. Press tab, press 2 for edge select, select this one, press Ctrl B and just bevel it out. And very easily we have created like a simple looking handle. Press slash to once again come out of the local mode, and let's see. Alright, so the size does feel a little bit weird, so just make it a bit longer. Move it up over here. And yeah, that feels pretty good. Let's just add the iron material to it. So the same as the windows material, this one. I think that's fine. You can click over here and click on this 2 icon to basically create this into a unique material, and we can make this a tad bit darker. Yeah, that's fine. I'll now select it, press shift plus D, press X to lock on the X axis and bring it right over here and place it with my all doors. Let's place it right over here as well. You can press I think 1 so that you can actually see it where you are placing it. So somewhere around here. And I'll just again duplicate it, bring it over here, press R then Z, type in -90 to rotate it this way and place it with this door as well. For this one, we can make it like a double-handed one. You can press dot on your number pad to focus on any object. And yeah, I will once again just simply add another mirror modifier and select the mirror object as this and easily duplicate it. With that, our doors already look a lot better than earlier. Let's add some lights on top of our like ceiling, and then we will basically be done with all the modeling and texturing. We can just focus on compositing our scene. Alright, so press shift A, add in a cube. First, what we can do is we can just select this ceiling, go to object, set origin, origin to geometry, shift plus S, cursor to selected, and press shift A and add in a cube. Scale this cube down to somewhere around here, 0.9 meters. Now just scale it accordingly. Basically, we can squish it in to create like a ceiling panel light. Press Ctrl A, apply the scale, press tab, press 3 for face select. Let's insert this and basically extrude this inwards like this. And yeah, that's done. We can move it over here in the front of our camera, like around the camera, and add in a array modifier. Let's adjust the offset. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I think 4 would be better to have in front of a camera like this. Yeah, that feels pretty good to me. Now we can just select them and first just add like a random material. Click on new, and this will be light, and then click on this plus icon and add an emissive material. Just rename this to emissive, which will be like the actual light. So delete the principled BSDF, press shift A and add in a emission shader and plug this in. Now press tab, just select this face only and click on your emissive material and hit assign. This way now only this part has the like this emission material, and the other one we can control like using the like other material. Basically, if you want to change the color of the actual light like this. All right, that's pretty good. Now let's press F11. So this was our old render. You can now press J to switch the slot and press F12 once again. Let's wait for the render to finish. And yeah, now the render is done. You can also press J to compare between the two renders, and you can already see we have come like a long way. This was looking pretty flat and now it looks pretty good. One last thing that we can add as like a small bit of detail is we can add like some classroom door signs like what we have in front of each and every classroom. Just select the door, press shift plus S, cursor to selected. Let's add in a cube. Very simple. Create something like that. And we will not like complicate it a lot. Create a cube this way. Apply the scale, press tab, select this face, press I to inset, and now just extrude it out like this. I think that's a bit too long, so just move it in. And yeah, this can be like the like plate where we write classroom names. Press shift plus S, cursor to selected, press shift A, and now you can add in a text object. Let's rotate it accordingly. Now when you press tab, you can basically, instead of going into the edit mode, you can edit it like a text. You can write like something like 101, which can basically signify the classroom name. You can go in over here in the object data properties and increase the, in the geometry section, increase the depth of this under the bevel, basically giving it this type of look. Also increase the extrude part a bit to give it thickness, and then adjust the bevel like this. You can probably make it as 1-101, basically showing that this is the first floor and then it is room number 101. And now just come in over here and first give it a material. So for this one, we can just simply make it dark like this. Also select this, add a new material, press tab, press 3 for face select, hold alt and select this face entirely, like all these faces over here. So hold alt and select this. Come in the material section again, add a new material, click on new and just hit assign. And once again, just make this a tad bit darker. Create something like that. And now we can just select both of them, duplicate and place it in each and every class in front of it. Press dot on a number pad to focus on the object, place it over here. Once again, just duplicate, press X and bring it right over here. Press tab and change the room number to 102 maybe, and this one can be 103. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how everything has turned out. Maybe I will select all of them like the classroom plates only and scale them down. Not scale them down like this, but instead go over here and select individual origin and now scale them down individually. All right, that's pretty good. Again, press F11 and press F12 to give it a new render so that we can actually see. All right, guys, so the render is done now. You can already compare by pressing J. One thing that I notice is that the outlines are a bit too thick, so I'll just decrease them. You can go back to your rendered view, select line art and just select the modifier and put the line radius at 0.005, I think. You can also come in over here in the render properties and just set the look to medium high contrast. And we can also just decrease the intensity of the sun lamp a bit as it is a bit too bright now. So come in over here and just set this to 3.5. With that, let's just quickly give it a final render. Again, press J, press F12 and wait for the render to finish. Alright guys, so the render is done now. Again, you can press J to compare. And I think this looks a lot better as sunsets are supposed to be like a bit darker. This looked a little bit too bright. So yeah, this is much better to work with. We can close this, come over to the compositing tab and you can just create a like this separate division over here and set this to image editor and just set this to render result so that we can see all of the changes we are making. Click on new and I will just press V to just zoom it out. Okay, so I will be doing some compositing in Blender and some of it in Photoshop as well, as it gives me like much better control. Okay, so to start off, I will press Shift A and add in a Kuwahara node, which will basically make our render look pretty painterly. But first, you need to go into options and set this to GPU because otherwise it will be like really slow. So yeah, now you can just plug this in over here and plug this in over here. Instantly, you will see our render goes like a little bit painterly. You can select any node and press M to basically turn on and off the like effect of that node. We can increase the eccentricity to 2 and uniformity around 10. Now when you play around with the size value, you can basically control how much of that effect you want. If you increase it a lot, you can see it basically completely gets like really smudgy. So I think 5 or 6 is fine. I'll set it to 5. Yeah. Next you can just press Shift plus A and search for the color balance node, and this can basically help you to control the like the lift, gamma and gain, which is the shadows, midtones and the highlights. So plug this in over here at the start. If you decrease the lift, basically the shadows will get darker. So I think somewhere around here is fine, minus 0.03 or minus 0.035, something like that. You can also control these things, like if you increase the gain, basically the highlights will get brighter or the midtones, and you can also play around with the colors as well. But I won't be experimenting too much with these values as I will be changing them in Photoshop itself. But yeah, if you want to do them over here, you can do that as well. Next, what I will do is just to make the render a tad bit darker, I will mix it with a multiply node. So you can select this and plug this in over here in a mix color node. And for the B, we can take this one and plug this in. Now plug the result in over here and change this from mix to multiply. Now we can basically control this. So I will just set it somewhere around 0.4, something like that. And you can already just select the nodes, press M to turn them on and off, and you can see the effect they add. What I will do is I will also add in a glare node. So press Shift A and search for the glare node, which will basically add some glow in our like render. For the glow, change the mode from streaks to fog glow. And next you can set the threshold value to 0. Basically, it will make everything glow, and you can increase the size to 1 as well. Press Shift A and search for the exposure node because everything is like really bright now. So we can decrease this by decreasing the exposure. So somewhere around minus 0.3. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. You can once again just select all of the nodes, press M to turn them on and off. And yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. Next, what I will do is I'll press Shift A and search for a filter, the filter node, plug this in, change this to box sharpen, and just decrease the factor from 1 to 0.1 because this is a bit too much. Alright guys, so with that I'm pretty happy with the compositing in Blender. I will be doing some more of it in Photoshop, so let's do that now. But before that, one small issue. The light over here looks a bit too overexposed. So there is like a very simple fix for this, which I want to show you guys. If you come over to layout, you can select your door, give it a new material, and basically just increase the metallic value. And if you increase the metallic value to somewhere around here, let's say, you can see now the like shining on the door is like a lot less. So press F11, press J again to compare, and you can also compare over here as well. This was the render before and this is after compositing. So you can see the type of effect it adds. Press F12 now Alright guys, so the render is done now. You can again press J to compare, and you can already see the glare is like a lot less now, which I think I like a bit better. Alright, so you can go over to image, save, and save this image and open this up in Photoshop, where we will be doing some further compositing. Alright, so now I have opened up our render in Photoshop. Let's click on this unlock icon, press Ctrl plus J to basically create a duplicate copy of this layer. You can also right click on the layer and select convert to smart object. Basically this way we can add like effects in a non-destructive manner. So now go over to image, adjustments, and select the levels effect, and basically you can just play around with these sliders to control the contrast of the image. We can control like the dark points and the bright points of the image, as well as the midtones as well. All right, I think something like this is pretty good. You can also turn your layer on and off to see the effect it adds, and I think this is pretty good. And now I basically want to add like a bit of red color into my render to make it seem a lot more like sunset. So you can go over to image, adjustments, and select color balance and just play around with these values. I will just increase them up a bit on the red side on all three of them: shadows, midtones, and highlights. So I think somewhere around here. And yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. Obviously, these are like totally up to your preference. You can adjust them however you like. Also, you will notice that we are getting all of our filters like this. This is because we converted the layer into a smart object. That's why all of the filters are getting added in a non-destructive manner. You can also go into the filter menu and select this camera raw filter, which is basically like a big all-in-one type of filter where you can adjust all of these things at once only. So let's say we can just increase the exposure a bit or decrease the highlights, or the things I like are texture and clarity. You can increase these two a little bit. These are kind of like free detail into your renders. And if you hit OK, so this is basically the effect it created. You can also double click on any filter and start editing it from where you left off. Like let's say if I add a bit of vignette to it. So vignette is basically darkening of the corners so that there is like much more focus in the center. We can do that, or you can like play around with all of these values, changing the vibrance or saturation. I think you get the point now. I think I've done the simple basic editing that I wanted to do in Photoshop. You can already see we have totally elevated the look of our render. What I will do is I will add in a new layer, and basically just a simple thing that I'd like to do. I will take the brush, change this to white and black, and I'm painting with white right now. Decrease the size of my brush, and I'll just paint over these lights like this. Just make sure to increase the size of the brush a bit. I'll paint over them like this, over here as well. Now as they get a bit smaller, you can decrease the size of your brush and just paint over here just a little bit, and over here as well. Now you can just select this layer, go over to filter. Okay, first right click and select convert to smart object, and then go to filter, blur, and select Gaussian blur. Decrease the size of the pixels to somewhere around here where it starts to get like blurry. Yeah, somewhere around here. Let's say 16. Hit OK, and you can decrease the opacity of this, and now you basically get this nice looking glow around your lights, which I think adds a nice bit of value to our renders. And with that, the video is done, guys. I think we created something pretty nice looking, and I'm really happy with the overall results. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. It does help out a lot. And I've also just recently released my Patreon, where I have a lot of other stuff related to anime style as well. So yeah, you can check that out as well. So thank you.